Hey guys, a question I get all the time is how do I learn the notes on the fretboard? And a little caveat to this, which is learning the notes on the fretboard is important, but it's not as important as in understanding how all the notes work together. So learning the notes on the fretboard isn't going to make you a great guitar player. It's just going to help you understand how to do things. So take the weight off of that you think you have to learn every note on the fretboard before you can do anything. That's not true. But learning the notes on the fretboard is very important. So there's a very, very simple method. I don't know what method you have learned about. I'm not saying that mine is the best. It just mine makes a lot of logic to me. So here we go. So first and foremost, I always use the question, if you're going to build a fence, what supplies you need to get at the store. So the supplies are, well, you need, nails, and you need the fence panels, and you need the fence posts and cement. And the key there is those fence posts. Now your guitar has fence posts, these fret markers here that never ever move. They're usually found on the 3rd fret, 5th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, and 12th fret. Now those are there to help you, guide your eyes when you're playing. So you don't have to look over. They're on the side of your guitar, right? They're right there. You can see them, so you can look down. So we're going to learn on the E string, if you learn the notes on the E string and A string, you can learn the notes on every single string. So here we go. So really quickly, on the E string, and we're going to talk about fence post notes, which are the whole tones, which are the names of the notes that have no sharps or flats. So you have your open E, right? 1st fret is F, 3rd fret is G, 5th fret is A. Okay, we're just going to start right there. E, F, G, and A. That's all we're going to start with. So you need to know the names of the notes of the musical alphabet, which are A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. So to make a long story short, there's no sharps between B and C and E and F. So you just go right from B to C and from E to F. Otherwise, you're going to say sharp. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. All right, so no sharps between B or C or E or F. So you got to remember that. That's like really important, actually. So if I have a G here on the 3rd fret and an A here on the 5th fret, well, what goes in the middle? G sharp. Okay, some people might say A flat, but we don't have to worry about flats right now. We're just learning sharps, and don't worry, there's not a huge difference. Okay, so you have G, A, and in the middle is A sharp by default. So these guys are your fence posts. These guys are what you want to remember. So if I need a G sharp, I can say, well, let me just find a G, and it's 1 fret up. Make sense so far? So here we're going to keep on going. We have E, F on the 1st fret, G on the 3rd fret, A on the 5th fret, B on the 7th fret, C on the 8th fret, D on the 10th fret, and E on the 12th. So you really want to pause and just memorize this. E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E. If you get that down, you'll have a lot down. So once you get that down, come back. I'm assuming you paused. Welcome back. Here we go. So you have the names of the whole tones, all right? So in between those guys are sharp. So if I have a C and a D, well, in the middle is a D sharp. You don't have to know the D sharp. You just have to know if I need a D sharp, well, let me find a D. Sorry, I messed it up, didn't I? If I have a C and a D, I have a C sharp in the middle. I think that's what I meant. And if I have a D here and I have an E here, well, the D sharp is in the middle, or the E flat. And we'll talk about flats later. But the concept is you just need to know the whole tones. And if you got to find a sharp or flat, well, you find which is your closest whole tone. If I need an A sharp, I find the A, and I'll know my A sharp is here. So you don't have to learn all of them. You just have to learn the ones that you can totally learn and then place where you need to the ones that you want to find out. So if I need an F sharp, great. I find an F and my F sharp. If I need, let's see, I already named them all. D sharp, okay, well, then I find a D and I have a D sharp. So that's one way to find the notes on a string. But now let's talk about find the notes everywhere on the guitar. So remember this pattern. Let's just start on the 5th fret of the E string, which is your A. That's your A. Now, 2 strings over, 1, 2, and 2 strings down is your octave. That's an A. So if you start here on the E string, any note, 2 strings over, A to D, then 2 frets up, 5 to 7, is your octave note, A. So you have A and A. A, 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 A. If I went to the 3rd fret, G, 2 frets over, 2 strings over, 2 frets up, G. Okay? Octaves are what make disco bass lines. Okay, so you have your octave 2 frets over and 2 strings apart. And now, if this is an A and this is an A, if you put your first finger on that A, well, 2 strings over, boom, boom, 3 frets up, boom, 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 because of that darn B string, okay? But we'll make sense of it. So here is an A, and here's an A. So if you know the names of the notes on the E string, you can find the names of the notes on the E, the D, and the B, okay? Just from understanding the notes on the E string. I'll do that again so it makes sense. If I have a C here, C, 2 strings over, 2 frets up is a C. Put your first finger on that C, 2 strings over, 1, 2, 3 frets up. That's a C. So, as you can see, you can find the names of the notes on the E string, D string, and B string just by knowing the names of the notes on the E string. But now let's get to the A string. Okay, so the A string, those fence post notes that we're talking about are A, open A, 2nd fret B, 3rd fret C, 5th fret D, 7th fret E, 8th fret F, 10th fret G, and 12th fret back to A. All right, so you want to learn those. Those are your fence post notes, just like we did on the E string. Those are the notes that are going to help you find either those notes or the notes in between them. All right, and that's very, very important. So if I needed a C sharp, I'd find the C and go 1 fret up. If I needed a D sharp, I'd find the D and go 1 fret up. If I needed an F sharp, I'd find the F and go 1 fret up. Okay, so you want to know where those whole tone notes are on both E and A string. Now, the A string is no different from the E string when finding the notes throughout the guitar. The patterns are still the same. I'm going to choose the 8th fret of my A string, which is an F, and we have that note, then 2 strings over, 2 frets up, there's your other F, there's your octave, F, F. So that means that the 10th fret of the G string is an F. And then, if you put your first finger on the 10th fret of the G string, and you focus on going 2 strings over, and 3 frets up, same patterns, you have F and F. Okay, so I have a C here, C to C, and then C to C. Yeah, I meant G. Yeah, sorry. There it is. I actually follow my own rules. C to C. Oh my God, just fire me right now. Okay, so C to C and C to C. All right, so that was off the A string. Here, I'll do one off the E string again. I have this note here, so I'm on the 7th fret of the E string. It's a B. B, 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 B. I'm here, okay? This is a G, 10th fret of the A string. I have G, G, and then G, G. All right? So that's good if you want to try and find notes throughout the guitar neck. And if you're playing it, you can pause here. You can just play and pause and look and be, hey, well, I can see a G there on the 5th fret of the D string, and I can see, okay, a G there in the 8th fret of the B string. You can visualize it. You don't have to like play it right now. But if you're playing and you pause a note and say, well, what note is that? You can reverse engineer it. You're on the B string, okay? So it's 3 frets down, 2 strings over, and then 2 frets down and 2 strings over. And there's my A. All right? So you can work it both ways. When you're on the fixed strings, it's 2 strings over, 2 frets up, and then 2 strings over, 3 frets up. And it's for both references on the E and A string. All right, and if you want to reverse engineer it, if you're on the E string or A string, B or E, if you pause, okay, well, 3 frets back, 2 strings up, 2 frets back, 2 strings up. So here's another example. I'm playing, I'm on this note here, I have no idea what note that is. I go 3 frets back, so 2 strings over, then here, 2 frets back, and 2 strings over. Oh, look, that was a B. All right, so you want to learn the fence post notes, which are your whole tone notes on the E and A string. All right, so those are the notes, the whole tone, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. All right, there's no sharps between B and C, and there's no sharps between E and F. Every other note has a sharp in the middle of it. Again, we'll talk about flats. Don't worry about it. So there, you learn it off of these strings here, and the same pattern exists. You pick a note, 2 strings over, 2 frets up is the same note, and then 2 strings over again, and 3 frets up is the same note. For both strings it works. And that's how you can start finding the names of the notes on your fretboard with a lot of ease. It's useful if you need to find a note rather quickly. It's useful if you're soloing and you want to like look at where my next note is, where I can jump to. It's great when you're writing a song, you need to find the notes of a chord. So use that method. Let me know what you think. I know it was kind of like a jumbled mess, but I think you understood the message, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.